Goeienaand, good evening fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Don't forget, on the Loving Life Live channel tonight, I'm going to be talking to two people who have very, very personal experiences about seeking asylum in America. So it's going to be a very interesting subject. And there is hope if you are wanting to go to America, but you'll have to wait to find out at 8 p.m. Now, many years ago, my son, Richard, studied at Unisa in Pretoria. Back then, it was a fabulous university. And today, not so much. Like everything else, it's become entrenched in the old R-word, black economic transformation, black economic empowerment. You know what I'm talking about. It's just become a complete and utter mess. And I'll tell you why. Higher Education, Science and Innovation Minister Blade Nzimande's exclusion of more than 20,000 potential first-year students from studying at Unisa is a direct contradiction to the transformation objectives in the higher education sector. It entrenches the existing inequalities which still exist in institutions of higher learning. This according to the South African Human Rights Commission. I'm sorry guys, but whenever the South African Human Rights Commission are involved, you know they're playing with the race card. This is the most misnamed organization in South Africa. It should be called the South African Racist Commission. That's a word far more befitting to the SAHRC. Anyway, that's my perspective. The SAHRC, or South African Human Rights Commission, wants to add its voice to the Economic Freedom Fighters Student Wing's application, in which it is taking on the minister over the exclusion of more than 20,000 potential first-year students from studying at Unisa. The SAHRC will this week ask the Gauteng High Court Pretoria to allow it to partake in the proceedings as a friend of the court. It intends on arguing that the minister's decision to exclude thousands of first years from enrolling later this month for the academic year is simply irrational. Well, you've heard it for years on this channel, where I've been talking about the L factor missing in action. Yeah, talking about the ANC hierarchy, completely gone, it's missing. And irrational. We often talk about the irrationality of the decisions made by these idiots running South Africa. And I'm talking from the top down. The EFF wants a decision to reduce the first-year intake at Unisa by 20,000 overturned. It feels Nzimande cannot dictate how many students Unisa should accept. In the latest development, the SAHRC last week filed an application in support of the EFF's bid. Jonas Sibagnoni, a commissioner at the SAHRC, said instead of easing the burden on the poor black children and enforcing the transformation requirements of Unisa, the minister directs the university to ingrain the challenges already facing disadvantaged students. Sibagnoni said in an affidavit, the minister's decision is a direct contradiction of the transformation objectives in the higher education sector, as it entrenches the existing inequalities, patterns of systematic exclusion, marginalization, and subtle forms of discrimination which still exist at institutions of higher learning. Now, SAHRC, what about black economic empowerment? That's the elephant in the room. But no, that's okay. Talk about exclusion based on race. You can't go beyond BEE. But the SAHRC is a complete and utter joke. And in fact, you know what they can do? They can go. The entire SAHRC can go and pog my horn. Okay? There you go. Just so you dumbwits know what it means, there's a little image. It'll give you a clue. Let's continue. The SAHRC earlier initiated a public national hearing to investigate the issues regarding racial integration and transformation at South Africa's public universities to determine whether institutions of higher learning such as Unisa have sufficiently transformed in the past 20 years. Sibanyoni said the investigation reflected that black students still suffer inequalities, patterns of systematic exclusion and marginalization. He went on to say, the minister's decision automatically denies the poor black students access to higher education on the assumption that they will automatically require financial assistance and burden the state. One of the recommendations made by the Commission is that the Department of Higher Education and National Treasury must review funding models to accommodate students who find themselves in a disadvantaged position due to lack of finances. Sibanyoni said the minister's decision was a clear indication that he failed to consider the recommendations. He went on to say, in fact, he has done the exact opposite of what the Commission recommended, given the minister's lack of intention to implement the recommendations, which take into account financial assistance which must be provided to disadvantaged students for achievement of transformation. The Commission is obliged to support the Economic Freedom Fighters application. Now, this is the same SAHRC that gave that racist Julius Malema a free pass when he went on stage and screamed to his supporters, "Kill the Boer." Yeah, I'm not making this shit up. Anyway, let's continue. Sibanyoni said the department must play a leading role in the transformation of institutions of higher learning and should exercise its powers in terms of the Higher Education Act to hold universities accountable for their lack of transformation. He said, the Minister, in his directive in December, does not outline what alternative measures have been put in place for the 20,000 candidates that will be left without access to tertiary institutions. Yeah, we're talking about the ones with the 30% pass mark. Go figure. Sibanyoni added that the Minister and Unisa's claims about the lack of affordability of meeting the demands are made in the vaguest possible terms. He said they were also mum about whether they were unable to reallocate resources within Unisa's available budget. Unisa spokesperson Tommy Humer earlier said the Department of Higher Education and Training has approved the enrollment target for 2021, a figure of 376,000 students. Humer said the university was required to scale back on first-time students this year, particularly those studying for higher certificates, as that generally and adversely affects the technical, vocational and training colleges' enrollments. He said, however, the number of students transferring from other institutions and returning students are unaffected by the enrollment targets. Humer would not further comment on the case at the weekend, as he said the issues were sub judice. There you go, guys. Every aspect of South African life has been pulled into black economic transformation. What a crazy world it is. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.